Hey everyone, how we all doing? Okay, so before we get started, everything I say in this video is my opinion, mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research, come to your own conclusions. With that being said, let's do this. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a reaction to this video, but after watching it back, I thought, okay, yeah, you really should do this, because there is a lot of telling things in this video. There's a lot of hypocrisy and just some really, really bizarre stuff that I picked up anyway. So I'm not going to make you wait any longer. This is Down the Rabbit Hole, and EKC is on panel. Nonsense is there for a while, I think, and some other people come up, including Cash. Cash Gurner Justice Family, I believe. So without any further, let's do this. Right, I haven't really skipped anything, just the intro, because Rabbit does have a fairly long intro.
Guys, where are we at? How many people do we have in here? Shout out to everybody in the chat, my members. Do the right thing. Wendy K is here as well. Everybody's like, I'm back.
I'm also
do
going
what
to
you
put the
gotta do,
playback
guys.
speed
This is
up a little bit.
just a conversation, just to check in to see where everybody's at. I pinned the link in the comments, so you guys can hit the link if you want to come up and voice your concerns as it pertains to the Marvon McRae situation story. You know, we're at this point where we had these, reports that have been filed. At least one that I know.
I don't think it would have been the best idea for me and EKC to be up on this panel, to be honest with you, because.
Know of, right? And it's funny because a lot of people, and I didn't know how bad it was. I actually had a lot of people leave me some comments and say, I've unsubscribed from the other channel because they attacked you. And please know, I'm not even asking for any of that. I'm just reporting the story as is. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion about what's been going on. I think that's important. I think that's how we learn from each other. Am I the end all be all of YouTube? Hell no, not as it pertains to the story. But I have approached the story in such an unbiased way because I don't want to be stuck in some idea that this is what's happening. And
Rabbit has been completely and utterly fair through all of this. She has her beliefs, I have mine. That's great. I still think she's great.
This is how it's gone. I think it's important that we stay open-minded because there's so many sides to the story and we just don't really know where to land and where to go. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments about it. Now, let me put the link one more time.
This is true. There are so many sides to this story. And when Taya came out and said the report was real, and then Molly went off on her, the biggest question I have is, why lie? Why keep the lie going? There's always a reason for a lie. And it's not just to stop people talking. Well, it could be to stop people talking, but it's still a lie. What are you hiding with that lie?
Here in the chat, it's already pinned. If anybody's interested in coming up to have a conversation to sound off. And I say that because a lot of people have said, well, they wanted to join the panel. And I said, okay, cool, I'm going to do it. Let me, okay, where'd the link go? Here we go. Sorry, y'all, I'm using a MacBook for this. A MacBook is always just interesting with a copy and paste. Yeah, people are saying different things. I heard another channel, and shout out to her. Her name is EkcPeopleSuck. Shout out to her, guys. I went into her chat, and she has an opposing view. She might have some other interesting ideas and or thoughts about the situation. I invited her. She actually had emailed me, and I was like, damn, cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Come on over. She actually pulled she had the FOIA request.
EKC only cares about Katie's part in all of this. I'm sorry, but you will see that as you go through this.
On this report. So for those that were saying that the police report was not real, well, then what the hell did EKC people pull? Because they pulled a report and they read it today. So that's the thing that I'm trying to say. It's real. Okay, those reports are real. I'm telling you, I had an influx of comments that said that's not real. And I wonder who told them that the information was fake. No, it's real. There was a report. Oh, well, she pulled the FOIA, so I mean, she knows that the report is real. But please, I know I invited her over. I super chatted her today. I was hoping that I could see her over here. And it'd be great just to have a conversation, kind of where her stance is at, because I've stand and I've said it before. I personally cannot call this a scam. I know other channels are doing that. I'm just not there yet. I know a lot of people feel a little bit different. RL, you don't need to unsub from anybody. And I would ask you guys not to, because you know what, at the end of the day, I'm not a hater. Like that's not what I want from this. I really want to have a good conversation
No, you
about
make
it.
your own
I think that there's something very
decision.
important for a lot of people to learn here, including myself, right?
People need to make their own mind up on who they follow and who they don't. Even if they want to follow all sides, that's fine too. Just don't talk shit on people behind their backs. That's all we ask. That's all we can ask.
As someone that spoke to the donor, as someone that interviewed the donor and reviewed the various receipts and communication from the donor, I still sit here and I said, I don't know if I can quite call this a scam because I am not the investigative authority to do so. So I can't run a stream and say this is a scam. And I've said it before. I had Mr. Yudi Rock up here, confronted him about some stuff because I don't run away from ish like that. This is just how I am. If I had somebody else from an opposing team, I'd confront them too and say, what's up, what's going on? Let's get to it because this is how we do it. And we don't even have to be disrespectful.
And that is great. We do not have to be disrespectful. And I'm going to do my best to be as respectful as I can through this one too. I always try my best. Sometimes it's easier said than done. EKC does sort of annoy the hell out of me, but there we go.
To each other. It's just having a difference of opinion. Okay. So let me read some of these comments that you guys have. Shout out to everybody. I got Bossy in the house. My wonderful members. Daisy Girl is here. Angel Baby. Do the right thing. I already said hello. Let's see. Daisy Girl. There's so many payers and different stories. I'm lost. I'm just not deciding who's right or wrong just yet. And as you really shouldn't. Absolutely. You really shouldn't. Shout out to, if you guys can message her and just, hey, give her the link, as I know we were going to maybe hear a difference of perspective. I didn't even know I was getting dragged. I said, what? I'm getting dragged? Cool. You guys should have invited me so I could have been part of it. It's okay. Because I want to believe that.
I like Rabbit. She got a good sense of humor. She really does.
This is coming from a good place. I'm not familiar. I'm telling you, I'm so new to the various communities. I literally thought that this was just in the crime community. I didn't know it was impacting the Katie of the Joy community. There's another community that's impacting this. It's just so many other communities. I have no clue. When I'm just really just wanting to report because I felt like personally that we weren't getting the full narrative and story based off of chopped up clips. I was not gonna, it's like this, guys. For me, I started in a certain way and I felt some type of way. Something was telling me, go back and look at some of these clips. Go stay informed. Go look at, maybe there's an opposing thing. And I always am like that. I always look at an opposing view because I want to know what I'm going to confront later on and or what I'm going to see different. Okay. I personally don't know Dre McCray whatsoever. I interviewed someone from Slay Mafia. I would do it again. It's really just to cultivate a difference of opinion and get some knowledge from it. I understand that a lot.
Everything said there exact. I'm going to try and move ahead of this a minute to where EKC comes on, if I can. Okay, we're almost there.
All right, lady, how are you?
How are you? I got a new.
Okay, so this is where we start. It won't be long before nonsense arrives, so let's get into this.
You in the other camp. Okay, hi, how are you?
Good. I'm so, I've seen you around. So I actually knew of you before I became a content creator myself, even though it was just different things that you were commentating on. So shout out to you and thank you for joining us.
EKC looks really happy over there, but that doesn't last long.
Here. Ooh,
thank you.
We have Michelle the Bell. Michelle, thank you for showing your face. I'm gonna add you here in the stream. Let me just say this. It talks baby girl. Shout out to her. She said, y'all better leave my YouTube niece alone. I don't play about the baby bunny. People were complaining about baby bunny. I don't know how you can, but it is what it is. All right, guys. So I dropped a link again if Nonsense wants to join us. I had told the people here about your did you pull the FOIA on the report? A lot of people were saying that this report was fake as far as what I had shown, which is fine. People are entitled to do that. Is the report, did you file a fake FOIA? Please let us know, EKC. You're muted. You're muted, love.
Yeah, that's my thing, apparently.
Yeah, EKC does have a tendency to be muted for at least a good 5 minutes normally.
Yeah, no, it's not fake. It's definitely a real report. But the thing is, it's not some report where you walk into a police station and you sit and you talk with an officer or a clerk or whatever, anything. You just it was emailed in, first of all. Someone just typed up an email and sent it in or answered a questionnaire in an email and sent it in. That's the report. There's no follow-up. I mean, the report was made on August 31st, so it's already 3 weeks old. So, I mean, it's not, it's a report in the sense that someone called and said, hey, this happened, but it's not an investigation by any means, nor does it look like it's going to be one either.
I never wanted to, well, hold up. I never wanted to represent it that way, right? So let's just be clear on that. I did say to the audience, guys, it's just a report and it is what it is. We don't know where it's going to go, right?
No, I don't think that the assumption is on your end. Don't get me wrong. I think that just all of us, myself included, when you hear report, you think investigation. You know, at least I do.
Right.
There's something along that lines. That's all. That's why I'm clearing it up.
Hi, Rabbit.
Hi, Michelle. Let us know what you think about this report. What are your thoughts?
Oh, about the report? I don't know, but here's my thoughts on everything. I watch a Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, so I was reading in the comments Justice for Vaughn, so I clicked on that hashtag. It directed me to the page of Molly and Justin, and I was addicted to.
I gotta be honest, when Cash Gurner Justice comes up, it breaks my heart. Like, that was so heartbreaking listening to her talk.
It. I watched it nonstop. Then when I finally learned about like what YouTube does and like how these YouTubers put out these narratives and get you sucked in and stuff, I donated to both parents or both cash apps. I never asked for my money back, but I think it's crazy that people would donate $1,200, $500, stuff like that. If everybody could donate $5 or $20, then that's fine and let it go. Like, I still think it's wrong, like what they did and like pushing that. And I'll never know if she visited her son or all that stuff. Okay, you guys, but hold on. And then, but the thing is that like to ask for your money back.
Absolutely. As kind of the people was to donate $1,500, that's just crazy. Just by doing $5 to $20 is doing a great service to somebody. Is an incredible help towards somebody. Please don't put yourself out of pocket. You have to remember that you need to live too. You have to survive too. You need money too.
I just can't believe that people would donate that much money. I mean, if like the girl that you interviewed that was pregnant, if you have a family on the way or stuff like that, then I just think that you shouldn't donate that much money, because I do think no matter what Letitia's background, and I'm not pro Molly, I'm actually disgusted by her actions. Like, I'm just saying to then ask a biological mother for the money back, and especially large amounts of that, I just think it's wrong. And I just think that you shouldn't ask for if you donate, you donate. And as far as the police report goes, I love your channel. I'm a big fan. But I
have mixed feelings on that one. Whilst I feel like it would be wrong in some ways to take the money back, I also understand where other people are standing on this. They gave their money to help with a lawyer or to get to see Marwan. And even after Letitia saw Marwan, they were asking for more money. But when there was talk of the girl's when there was talk of the girl's father doing a fundraiser to get custody, Molly's attitude to that was, why do we have to pay for everybody's legal fees? So why the double standards, Molly? Because he wouldn't talk to you? Because he wouldn't do everything you wanted him to do? Get up on your panel and talk about Dre like she is the worst person in the world? Just my opinion.
I don't know if it's, as far as it going into an investigation, I don't know that. I don't know enough
Absolutely
to speak.
We don't know. We don't know whatsoever.
But,
nonsense. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm in a hotel because I'm going to a Dave Matthews Band concert really soon.
Ooh,
and
Dave
I'm out of town.
Matthews.
Yeah, I'm really excited, but I'm alone, so I got a chance to catch you live. And I just wanted to say, like, just don't ask for your money back and don't give that much. I mean, if all the people that were in Molly's live donated $2, $5, even $1, then just, she would have still had well within a lot of money to travel and see her son.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. The issue of donations has always become, was this right? Is this right? Like, if there's a morality issue here happening, and I don't know if we're able to even answer that, right? If it's a morality issue, like, I can't tell you what's morally right about a donation, whether you should have been asked, right? And I think that's the piece. A lot of my comments on my videos are about, she's wrong for doing this, and then other people are in the opposite side. So for me, it's like, I can't tell you. Who am I to tell you what's wrong or right about a donation and or requesting a refund about it?
Yeah, I definitely think that they tug on your heart, the MGL and Justin whole bandwagon. And I think they tug on your heart. I don't like the parent shaming. I think Dre has a lot on her damn plate. I don't like that. She's providing for 3 children, and that's not.
Absolutely. Dre is probably doing everything she can to not end up in the gutter right now. I can only imagine. Her and Marvon's little boy is probably going through so much that he doesn't understand. Like the kid is 7, I believe. It sucks.
Not easy in this economy. That's not easy to provide, whether you're living in a trailer or whatever you're living in, to feed them and attack her as a parent. I am totally against that. And that's when I really stopped watching. But I have to admit to you guys, I was addicted to watching the 6-hour streams when my son would nap, or, oh, are they on again? And but they know what they're doing. They're professionals. You know what I mean? So I think.
Oh, for sure. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to get you to empty your pockets. And that is one of the big issues.
Everyone got sucked in. It was a Marine. It was a sad story, and they gave out of the goodness of their heart. It blows my mind that people were donating thousands of dollars on their own individually. But to me, it's just like, I'll never know if my $20, $50, how it was spent, but I'm not going to ask for it back. That's for them to take the money. And if they needed it, they did. And that's okay with me. That's all I want to say.
Absolutely. And to be fair, the parent shaming has gone both ways. And I'm gonna say it for even Drake, who called Letitia an egg donor, right? Like parent shaming her for this, not being there.
Yeah, I'm not a Dre fan at all. I'm not either. I'm like you, like Team Switzerland. I'm just saying nobody has the right to be like, oh, her kid's in diapers. He's 7 years old. My son has autism.
Yes.
Like you don't.
Tell me you watched Twilight without telling me you watched Twilight. Sorry, brother. I thought that one was kind of funny.
No, and these are clippets of people's lives. So it's just really blown out of proportion, and it's very addicting. It's an escape from our real lives, and it's just gone too far. It's gone too far.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Oh, thank you,
This is absolutely true. 100%.
Rabbit.
Yes, thank you. And keep
And I
watching.
love your
Thank you so
channel,
much.
and keep up your great work. I appreciate
you.
it. So, okay,
Appreciate
you guys
it,
have a good night. Thanks a lot.
You too. We have
Okay.
Nonsense up here on the panel as well. Nonsense, EKC, I dropped your link to the channel. You guys go check out her channel. It's in the chat. Nonsense, will you also drop your link when you get a minute, so people can follow you? Nonsense, what are your thoughts? I've been hearing you. I know you. You've been on it, like, listen. And it's interesting to me. Like, tell me where you're at right now. Where are you at?
If you saw my last live, my head's kind of in a spin cycle still.
One thing I do agree with what EKC said is a lot of this stuff we shouldn't even know, because it's family stuff that should be kept within the family. But there are people who have put it out. Letitia has put stuff out. Marvon Jr. has put things out. Senior has put things out. Wynette has put things out. Molly has put a lot out. And so has Dre, to a degree. They put their whole lives out, her and Marvon. Literally their whole lives. So when people are telling you things, you need to go and you need to look. Instead of just accepting what Molly says or Justin says, have a look for yourself. Try to find the claims that she's making. Because I'm telling you, a lot of the things that Molly's putting out are not true.
Problem I think that a lot of people are missing here is the major crossover between platforms. So if you are on YouTube solely, you're seeing it from the perspective of the YouTube creators, correct? Like a lot of people don't cross over to Facebook in the ways that this has crossed over. So
there's a lot of posts on Facebook that don't make it to YouTube. There's a lot of receipts on Facebook that don't make it to YouTube.
Absolutely. And it's almost impossible to show everything and make it make sense, because a lot of this stuff seems surface level, right? So you look at it, you think, okay, well.
And that is something I recently done. I recently made a Facebook page for Welsh Rose. So I'll go into that more on a live stream if people want to come over and want to follow me over there. I don't know how much I'll be on there, but it's worth a try.
People donated. They were unsatisfied with what they thought their donations went to. They asked for refunds. They were told refunds would be given. Then they've said that refunds were issued, and that was it. So that's where most people are seeing this, right? Is that's the main issue. Well,
I
it's
mean,
not though.
and that's the thing is, I heard the live, and EKC, you could tell me if I'm wrong though, but if you feel different, there was a live where the goose lady, and I'm gonna call her the goose lady, because out of respect, I really don't know her name, and I'm a rabbit, but I don't want to call somebody a bird. I just it just feels
I really do like your sense of humor, Rabbit. You do make me chuckle. You notice, though, EKC is still smiling here. It's not going to go on for much longer.
weird. but I'm like, the goose lady said that everybody had been refunded. So one of the struggles that I have, well, then did this person who you pulled a FOIA on file a fake police report? I mean, it can happen. In your opinion, I'm kind of wondering what this is all about.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible that the person who filed the police report had filed it fraudulently. I don't know. So I'm not saying, and this is like, because how do you prove people were paid back, or how do you even prove that you donated without pretty much doxing yourself, I guess, in a sense? I know people think it's doxing. I personally don't exactly, but I get it though. I understand the concern anyway. So, I mean, how do you prove all that without outing all these people? And so it's kind of like what do you do? And like with the person who filed the report, there was a different last name on the report than there was on the Facebook page. So, I mean, I don't know if they at one point in time, each name was a legal name for her, or if she lied about a name. And if she did, I don't know.
It's possible that she got married and didn't change her Facebook name. That's always possible. I'm sure she wouldn't be the first or the last. But I don't think it was a fake report. I think it was genuine.
Which one? So that kind of makes me wonder, well, if the name on the police report isn't her legal name, then can she really get in trouble for filing a false report? I don't know. My head goes crazy. So I consider all things. But I mean, it's possible, but I don't know.
EKC, you don't consider nothing. Being the person who read Katie Joy's essay report as a way of being a saviour for the police officer, being a knight in shining armour, please give me strength.
Absolutely. What do you think, Nonsense?
I was just going to say that's a perfect example of Facebook and YouTube are not crossing. So all of that information that she just asked about, as far as validation of where these screenshots came from, who the people are, all of that stuff's on Facebook. There's receipts of the conversations with Letitia. There is, oh my gosh, there's conversations of all the back end stuff.
Nonsense has been amazing in bringing all the information together, by the way. So if you need to know anything, you want to ask anything, Nonsense is the place to go. Nonsense, she has every screenshot, every conversation, and she has it all in one place. She has a number of videos where she shows everything that she's got to. But if you don't see something you want to see, ask her. She is completely approachable. She is a lovely person with a great sense of humor and just a really decent person.
Stuff of how it got to this point. And the huge piece that people keep getting stuck on is that this started after Katie.
Oh, here it comes. Watch EKC's face now. Just watch her face when Nonsense says what she's going to say, because I caught this and it was absolutely hysterical.
He asked for a refund. Actually, refund requests started July 10th. Molly, Katie, none of them had been involved in this story until July
And out.
6th. There was a ton that was happening in Facebook groups, everything that was going on that these guys don't know about. It's out there, but because they're trying to figure out how does this align with these people.
Did you? Oh, look, I better try and smile. But the eyes are really not there. Look at that fake ass smile. It stops right below the eyes. Like she is so forcing that smile.
There's these big, huge holes, and we're not being able to fill them in.
Okay. And I would definitely say it's just so much. There's so many screenshots. EKC, like honestly, so many. When you had pointed something out, and I was thinking about this, I said, okay, I can understand this tape. Somebody had said something to the effect of the person that filed the police report was Katie Joy, right? Katie of the Joy. That was the initial thought that a lot of people were thinking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she could have. We really don't know. We don't even know how many reports have been filed. I only know of the one. I've heard there's been a couple. But to me,
she's not even trying to make an effort now, look. She's like checked out, done, gone. Okay, this is not a place for me. Bye.
to say, well, I mean, why wouldn't Katie Joy even own that if she had filed one, you know? And I don't know Katie Joy like that. Trust me. Like I see some posts. She's, to me, I don't. One thing I do not, and I do not like the fact that this woman put out Marvon Jackson's criminal arrest record to try to substantiate some story that there is some massive scamming going on between this family. Like, I'm not cool with that. Number one, because it is, how the fuck would you like it if I were to put your DUI up there and shame you for it? I don't like that. This is why I don't. And I'm telling you, and I've said it before, she's been on my DMs. I don't answer her. I'm so like, no, dude, I just don't roll that.
Oh, did you see that big swallow then when EKC's like, yeah, and I came up with Katie's essay report and I tried to shame her with it.
I don't. So anyways, but that's just my soapbox.
But she ain't going to say that, guys. That's not going to be said. She's not going to say it.
Can I say something?
Yes, please do. I muted myself.
I didn't want to interrupt her.
No, I got so worked up with that because I saw that and that worked me out. But anyways, go ahead.
So Nonsense mentioned like the screenshots of the conversations and everything going back. Like I've read all of that. I still haven't seen screenshots of, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm doubting the refunds possibly as much as I'm doubting the donations because again, I haven't seen screenshots. I haven't seen verification of really anything. So I'm not really talking much on that because
None of us have. That's the issue, EKC. But it's none of your effing business, remember?
don't know. But I mean, I read all the screenshots of the conversations and everything. So I get what you're saying, how things get lost in the platform jumping. I get that. I mean, I started out on Facebook really long before YouTube. So I'm still pretty regular on there. And I've been following this. So I mean, I just want to let you know that I did read it all. That's all.
No, I wasn't speaking directly to you. I'm sorry.
I know. I just want to let you know. It's all.
No, I'm sorry. No disrespect, but when I say like I'm new to YouTube, I really don't know who you people are. Most of you creators, Rabbit, I do know, just because she's been covering this stuff. But most of the other people involved, I don't know. I don't have any association with Katie. I don't even know who Katie is. She's as new to me as all of the rest of you. But with what Rabbit just said, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff either.
Yeah.
The looks on EKC's face. Wow.
And though there has been like, and people were hell bent I had to be Katie because I wasn't attacking her, right? So she had put all this stuff out, but at the time that things were unraveling, I wasn't able to wrap how she had initially even gotten involved. So until I could piece that in, I couldn't even speak on that. And so me not talking on her or piecing that in right away gave people the opportunity.
I now know that EKC does have a problem with nonsense. Even if you look to the side of this video, let's talk about the nonsense. A 3-hour, 41-minute video, EKC. Great. Okay.
Oh, she's protecting her for some reason. Like there's a reason she's not discussing it. And I get it. It's totally fair. But, you know, in time, it'll just all be what it is.
It's so scary to even, and let me add to that too, to even have Katie share your post. I know she's been sharing a lot of stuff of yours. And then it's immediately like an assumption. I was on a live EKC and she shared my video. And then she commented, right? And then not only that, then you have Molly that commented. I had these two women that are commenting, and I felt some type of way because number one, I don't really think they were watching me like that. You know, I'm just a little channel over here. You know, I had no clue until somebody pointed out that I was on Facebook. And I said, man, let me tell you, like, I don't know, because I don't agree with the woman. I don't agree with both of these women. You know.
Yep. There's a lot of us though that feel that way. There's actually a whole bunch of people that came from the Facebook communities that saw the back end of this. See, before the stuff started happening on YouTube and the fallout started happening, there had been lives done questioning the refunds, talking about the attorney being retained.
And all of this without Katie Joy, before Katie ever became a part of this, which in itself is hysterical. The EKC is not worried about that. I can assure you.
Spokesperson at that time for Letitia actually did a live and addressed this. All of a sudden, there was other things that happened in the background. People pulled away and relationships parted, and then a certain relationship with certain groups of people took off. So there was pieces of this unfolding already. I missed a lot of them. I didn't know they happened at first either. There's just been so many things happening with this constantly. It's hard to keep up. Honestly, it's impossible.
Absolutely. EKC, what are you drinking on? Just curious. I'm like, oh, that looks really good.
I made it. We had this drink at work that's a banana cream with vanilla vodka and butterscotch schnapps in it. It's really good, but I don't have it all here. So I kind of made my own with just vanilla vodka, this like liquid banana flavored yogurt with a little bit of milk and then a little bit of butterscotch syrup. And it is awesome.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, that looks really awesome. Let me ask you guys a question, okay? And EKC, let me start with you. What do you think justice means for Marvon?
That's a really good question. Really good. Nice one, Rabbit.
Really confused by that because I usually tend to feel like justice means like a crime and yet we have nobody that's been charged with anything.
Right.
What do you
I don't
think
think
that means?
I don't think that there was a crime, period. I mean, I think maybe my impression anyways, when I first heard Justice for Vaughn or whatever, when I first heard that, and when I came into this, it was when Letitia was still, she still hadn't seen Vaughn. So that's the justice how I took it. Like, it was justice for Vaughn to have his family with him, as he, I want to say go through this, but realistically, I think it's the end of his life. So justice for Vaughn, to me, was for Vaughn to have his family with him.
Sadly, I agree. And that little boy is far too young to be saying goodbye to his daddy. And it is heartbreaking. But we will continue.
Barring that, though, there is no justice required, I don't think. There's
No
one did anything to him. I mean, sure, you can argue some things were done or whatever, but I mean, that's life, I think. Nothing was done to him to require justice, I don't think.
So when Katie started with the whole murder thing, saying that Dre had murdered him, or even what Molly has insinuated,
I never, right from the get-go, my opinion was, yeah, no, that didn't happen. This looks like it was an attempted, what it was,
Oh, wow. I appreciate, because I feel like a lot of us are feeling like that, maybe. Like, I haven't made up my mind. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like
I completely agree. I believe he was struggling with PTSD, depression, and he couldn't do it no more. So he did this. And maybe there was a part of him who felt like he was a burden on his family. Because that's how people with depression feel. They feel like they're a burden on their family, they're a burden on their loved ones. And they just want that to stop. And it's heartbreaking. And if you've ever felt that way, if you've ever been in that position, please know that you're not a burden, that you are loved, that you are wanted. I know how that feels, and I know how much it hurts. And you just want somebody to tell you it's going to be okay. And I want to tell you, if you're feeling that way, it's going to be okay. You can get through this. You can do this. You're stronger than you know. And there are people who love and care about you. Just reach out to them. Let them know how you're feeling. And tomorrow will be a better day.
the police report was very lackluster. In nonsense, please tune in to what justice means to you as it pertains to this case might be different as well, or the same. But I feel like the police report was very lackluster. And then we're also insinuating that a crime has occurred. So then a lot of people, if you think of the premises of the donations, was because, and I'll tell you, I had a lot of comments that said, don't leave Dre alone. She's going to pull the plug on her husband. It really disgusting. So I'm like, well, how do we know? Well, because there's this fear-based tactic of reporting that has happened on YouTube, this mass fear-based, thought that.
If that was the case, she would have pulled the plug when the doctors first spoke to her. But she's been fighting for him. She's been fighting for her husband to be alive, for him to heal. And it would be freaking awesome if we got a message tomorrow, or we found a video tomorrow that said that Marvin McCray woke up. We could literally celebrate that. Celebrate that little boy getting his daddy back. And I pray for that day. Until it's too late, I keep praying. Because until it's over, it's not over. And right now, it ain't over.
This could happen, and this is one of those situations when we really don't know what the case is. You have another case right now. It's currently happening on Facebook. Shout out to the Facebook groups called, Justice for Josh Baraka, where it's the same situation. The man attempted suicide, brain injury happened, and you have a wife that's actually trying to petition the court to take him home to allegedly starve him to death. Okay, so
Oh, wow. EKC looks really bored. She looks really fed up. Anyone else think that? How flushed are her cheeks? Is that alcohol or is that anger? I'm going to go with alcohol.
I was looking into this. I said, how does this mirror this, and how much of it? And there's actual court documents of this case, of what's happening, petitions and stuff like that. This is very different than this, clearly, but it does honestly. It's a sad. Do you know about this nonsense?
Oh yeah. I think me and you actually talked about this briefly just once before of how similar certain things are. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right. So what does justice mean for you then? Nonsense. Is it this?
No, this isn't justice. This is nowhere close to justice. How could any of this be justice for Marvon? At the end of the day, you have a man that is fighting a battle that's not going to turn out well. I mean, I don't know how else to put it in nice terms that everybody wants, but you have a man who obviously was suffering.
Yeah, that's the thing with this. There's no way of really sugarcoating out anything. There is no way to sugarcoat it. It would be great if you could. Yeah, he's going to wake up now in 24 hours. But we can't say that because we don't know. I wish there was an answer, people. I really do.
You have a family that's obviously suffering. How exactly social media got involved, or how this is going to turn out any way better, or that any type of exactly what is justice, because justice correlates to me some sort of crime. And in my opinion, at this point in time, I cannot 100% say that anything 100% is a crime or not. Like I don't have that capability of saying that. What I do have the capability of saying is that what has been done to his story, to his legacy, to what his children, his grandchildren, his family, what has been done and what they will have to live with for the rest of their lives because of social media and actions by others, deserves to me more justice than anything. And
absolutely nonsense. And as usual, worded so beautifully. What does this mean for his family when all this is said and done? His son, his stepdaughters, who he raised like his own. Those kids are the ones who are going to be living with this in the future. Even when Dre McCray is finished her life, and I hope it's a long one, but they still have to go on and live with this. And then their children after. People forget about those. When they're arguing over whether Letitia or Marvon Sr. are scamming people, or is Molly Golightly scamming people? I go the latter, to be honest with you. I don't know about Letitia. She could. She has a history of many issues, you could say. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it's the son and the daughters and the grandchildren who have to live with this beyond the time when they're here to continue fighting about it.
in my opinion, justice being served, I guess I don't know where you could go with that. My thing is telling Marvon's story correctly, telling who is this man. Let's be honest. Let's get to the honest nitty gritty. It's on social media, so at least we could do is honor the man for his life that he actually lived, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I dropped the link for anybody else that wants to come up and maybe might have a different take in this. We're talking a little bit about the allegations of scam. Now EKC has pulled a FOIA for those that have said that the report was fake. She pulled a FOIA, so it's a real report. It doesn't mean it's an investigation. It means it's a report, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's pretty. It's like a paragraph and a couple of text.
I've spoken to my husband quite a bit about this, what I'm going to say now. But if there was one thing that I could do for Dre McCray and Marvon McCray, that would be to get them wedding rings. A ring that Dre could wear. And if Marvon didn't come through, could be potentially buried with him, so that they would then have those rings as a symbol of their love. Because, as you're all probably aware, they had to give up their wedding rings. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why, because it is already out there. Dre has spoken about it. And I've probably got it on my channel already where she's talking about it. But if I could do one thing, if I could afford it, I would do that. Because I think that would be one of the most beautiful things anyone could ever do. But that's just my opinion.
Attachments to it. What we know is that we have a bridge of communication here that's kind of weird between Facebook and YouTube. I think a lot of, I don't know, nonsense. Were you ever a YouTuber before this? Like, did you just become one to be able to stream over here, or what was it?
I actually did. That's exactly what happened. Is I had a small, tiny page on Facebook. Been over there for years and years. Usually keep to myself. My main page I got suspended from using, so I used my backup page and I just started posting. But then I was like, nobody's seeing any of this stuff because everybody's over on YouTube. So I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go play in their backyard because I had apps on my phone that I can make videos. I mean, come on. We've all been around long enough. We know how to make a video. So I was like, I can do this. And watching my first videos is absolutely painful. I will say, I give you all that. The voice changer was terrible. Thank you. You're welcome. I was trying to be like very emotion filled. I just wanted to present the facts and I did not want anybody to read off of my
Nonsense, you done brilliant. I gotta be fair. Completely new to doing this. You were amazing. You still are amazing. You've done a great job. You've grown so much over the past 2 months. It's unreal. And it's been amazing to watch you grow and become the person you now are on you. And people trust you. They know that you're going to come with the facts. And they know that you're trying not to be too emotionally tied to the story. I think that's the right way to say it.
emotion on these facts. So I was like, yeah, it was terrible. But it was
No, you wasn't. You wasn't. You was far from terrible. Go back and watch my first videos. That's terrible. That's really bad.
just, that was
Go
a way
ahead,
to
sorry.
get info. It was just a way to get info out. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm nothing. I'm just nonsense. Okay.
Nonsense on the web. All right, let me ask you guys a really tough question. This is another, and I actually wrote these down because a lot of people were wanting to know a little bit about this. I know we said justice for Vaughn. Now there's some channels that are talking about justice for Letitia. Do you guys have any ideas about what that looks like? What crime has been committed towards Letitia? If we say that justice, that's what it means, right?
Well, in my opinion, I'm not sure I'm not sure things have been done quite yet.
Committed
No.
towards Letitia. If we wanting to know a little bit about
Wrong button. No. What legally has been done to Letitia? People are asking for the facts. How much were you trying to raise? How much have you raised already? Where's it going? Like, really? Are they that bad questions? 1, how much are you trying to raise? 2, how much has been raised? 3, where's this money going? I'm sorry, but I don't think they're really bad questions. I don't think that's being too intrusive.
this. I know we said justice for Vaughn. Now there's some channels that are talking about justice for Letitia. Do you guys have any ideas about what that looks like? What crime has been committed towards Letitia? If we say that justice, that's what it means, right?
Well, in my opinion, I'm not sure I'm not sure things have been done quite yet to that point to where she would require justice or either. Because there's a lot of shit that's been said about her and things that I think are not true. But I mean, we all have things said about us. You know what I mean? So unless it's causing her actual damages in life, like fiduciary damages.
Cash has just come in, and Cash does get kind of upset here, I think, but rightfully so. Cash is very informative and knows what she is speaking about, which is good. And I'm glad that she does know what she's talking about. Someone who actually knows the facts legally and can just put them out like, here's the facts, that's that.
Then I don't think that there's anything that needs to be done, that should be done. But other than that, though, I think that she should be able to see her son. You know, I don't think that she should. I get that his wife is the one in charge. His wife is his next of kin. But I mean, I feel like Dre's doing herself a disservice too by not being a very good steward of the power in which she yields. Because
I disagree with you. If my husband's parents were talking about me the way Letitia is talking about Dre, no way in hell. I have enough self-respect to know that. That red is really patchy, EKC.
At some point down the road, having his family there to support her, to call upon, to talk to, could prove invaluable.
They've never been supportive towards them before, so why start now? Just my opinion. All they've wanted from Marwan was for him to give, and they take. What would change now? Letitia wants a certain lawyer to work with her. That would mean looking at Marwan's estate. That's none of her business. That's Dre and this son's business.
To her as she grieves, and that could go both ways. So I mean, that's the only justice I can think of, is that she should be allowed to see her son. Barring that, though, I don't think that anything's been done necessarily to that point yet. But I mean, I think that the things said about her, and there's an argument to be made. I think it's my opinion.
Absolutely. We have Cash also of the Cash Justice Family Organization in the stream. Cash, would you sound off? What are your thoughts about the situation?
Well, we have a big issue out here. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys in the chat. We have a big issue out here, and that is with the social media, with these cases that are going on and the way they are being exploited. Now, you have justice out here on these names in the Facebook pages. You have justice out here on all these titles for Vaughn. Okay, what our concern is, we have real victims that need justice. So what that is real legal justice. So what y'all did was a witch hunt. There was no person of interest, and nobody was in for questioning for any kind of justice to be put in place in this man's name. First off, this is fraud from the beginning. You are exploiting.
Complete and utter respect. Cash, you say it like a pro.
Exploiting this family, you are exploiting the mother, you are exploiting the children. All of you are. Not, I'm just saying, there are ones that are outing the exploiters. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you. Anybody that's out here making a mockery for a buck, shame on you, because that's why we're all here, to make sure it doesn't happen anymore. Enough is enough. Do you know what these people look like? And they want to say they're connected to families and they're not, and what they look like and how they act up on those streams. Do you see the ridiculous stuff that they're doing? And they're saying they're connected to kids and families? Are you kidding me? Enough. Enough. And the name justice needs to be taken out of all of the Facebook groups, everybody's streams, because there is no justice that belongs in the front of this man's name. Pray
Hallelujah.
for this man. Help this family. Help that mother and those children. Y'all witch hunt. You put out a witch hunt. Enough's enough. Thank you, guys. I said what I need to say. Bye.
Thank you so much, Cash. And Cash, I know
Bye.
I have a couple of links that you have left me. I would like for you to email me. That way you and I can chat. I know you've been wanting to reach out to me.
We're having a hard time with this out here because it's making a mockery out of the rest of us that are out here trying to do the right thing for families. And we support, you'll see us come on with certain content creators that we know that are out here trying to do the right thing. We love you guys. We make videos for you guys to thank you, because we need the help. We need the unity. We need a collective out here. And there's a handful of the crime community that's been doing this on exploitation. That is a crime. That's a crime. The cyber laws are now in place. So the task force is in place. Went in place on June 17th. That is for harassment and cyberbullying. And believe you me, we're sure they're out here and they're around all of you. We know that very well. And the time's going to come when examples need to be made. And we're ready to be the voice to make the examples. Believe you me. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
That was powerful. That was real powerful. It's just such a shame it has to come to this. Such a shame this has to be said. That people don't understand this already.
Bye, Cash.
Thank you, Cash.
Cash is passionate. And I have to agree, it should be dignity from Arbonne. Like, the man deserves dignity. This isn't dignity.
For sure. EKC, what are your thoughts? You're kind of quiet right now. Are you okay?
I'm just being
That's
respectful.
a lot. No, and please, this is a panel, man. Like, I get it. You know, do what you. I'm not asking. We're not dropping F-bombs. We're being respectful.
No, I know,
If you have a difference of opinion, this is your.
I'm trying
Go
to
ahead.
continue that. See, I get what she was saying. I do, absolutely. And that's why, like, even when I first started talking about this, I was reluctant to. I didn't want to talk about this from that place because I don't know these people. I never even heard of. I never heard of Dre before. I know nothing about any of this. So my whole thing in coming into this fold or whatever the story was the whole Katie aspect of it. And and that I never even knew Molly before that. But
And that is the only reason you came into this. Because of Katie. And you hate it when they say that Katie's not responsible.
in reference to what she was saying, I mean, people can talk about whatever they want on their channel. Sure, you can disagree with it and you can speak out against it. Absolutely. And you should, if that's how you feel. But you're never going to stop people from talking about the things that they want to talk about. And the thing is that if people are tuning in, then their people are going to make money. But in this case in particular, I want to point out that I get that there's Dre, there's her husband, Don, the kids. These are all people actively, involved in the story. They should be, considered. But there's also the rest of the family too, Vaughn's family, the family he grew up with, and I think that they're more in consideration as well. And I think that that's why this became a story, because that family didn't feel like they were being considered. So that's why this became.
But he didn't grow up with them at all. He would wait for them to pick him up, and he kept waiting. He's told us that. They wasn't there unless they wanted. And that is Dre's issue. One of them, anyway.
Seems such an emotional charged issue or situation. That's what I took away from it. And on top of that, when it came to the fundraising, like right from the get-go, this fundraiser was about, the whole goal was to get Letitia there to see her son. That was the whole goal. That goal was met. So I don't see anything wrong with that. And she has every right to put a fundraiser up if she wants. And to even say, listen, I just want money to go see my son. Like I can start a fundraiser and say,
Did you not hear a word that Cash just said, Erin? Cash just went through that whole fraud thing and you're still saying she should be able to make a fundraiser. The irony. Literally 2 minutes prior.
on a boob job if I want, it's whether or not people want to donate. And I don't see how anyone here was taken advantage of if the money went to Letitia and she did in fact go see her son, because that costs money, especially when you live paycheck to paycheck. Well,
we don't know if all our money did go to Letitia, because there is a Cash App where the money was refunded back to Molly. Now, why would that money be refunded back to Molly but never go anywhere from that point?
To take a weekend off that can get you evicted. So there's a lot to consider here. And I imagine she wanted to see her son more than once.
Right. And I'm going to point this out. This is where we might differ here. So the people who raised him were considered. Letitia was never around. This is the piece where I feel like we get into the family dynamics that we are not invited to unless we are absolutely like, how do I say this, man? Like, I don't want you in my family business, right? Like I might not have had a close relationship with so-and-so, but if this is life and death, I don't know if we're the ones to determine who raised who and who what. Like they have their history. Now, I will give you this though. Letitia brought it here, right? Brought it to Molly, brought it to the Facebook, which in turn brought it to YouTube. In reality, what did people think was going to happen? It was going to blow up, right? YouTube is a whole different monster than Facebook, I would say. Maybe I dropped the link for you if you want to step up and say something more to that effect, because I do think, and I don't know, y'all have some history or something that I don't know, but you're smiling. I'm like, is that a good idea?
We're best friends.
Y'all
Yeah, okay. That's the most you've smiled since the beginning, EKC. Literally the most you smiled.
I'm not mediating any of that, but just to stay to the topic of the fact that like I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I didn't even agree with Dre per se when she said when she gave her take about being the egg donor or anything like that. That's just my opinion. I don't like that because I don't know. And I've worked with a lot of foster parents and a lot of mothers and a lot of teens that become pregnant at the age of 16, 15, and they cannot raise their kid for whatever reason. And kin starts coming up, or maybe grandparents raise those children. I've done that and I've seen it. So it's not a place for me to take, especially as a woman. I couldn't necessarily support that statement.
I mean, I just want to add real quick. There are children, young and adult children, whose parents were never involved in their life. Were like probably, if you say out on the street, addicted to drugs and were jerks to them. But still, when it comes to life or death, that's who they want. They want those moments. So I mean, that's my whole takeaway. But I lost both my parents. So I. And I know, I'm sure I have no doubt that there's a lot of people here who understand, that feeling. I get that. But I mean, that's what I'm drawing from. That's the feeling I'm drawing from.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah,
thank you.
Me too. I'm sorry.
That's the feeling I'm drawing from.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sorry for your loss, EKC. But your emotions and somebody else's and your feelings and somebody else's are not always the same thing. Like, I don't know. The last person I would want next to me is the woman who gave birth to me.
I'm so sorry. Nonsense. What do you think? I mean, I know you used to follow. You had shared you used to follow with Dre, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where do you stand with this, especially with and I think this is an important comment to point out. Maybe I'm not dragging you, I promise, but I did want to highlight that comment because that was brought about in various channels. And so I just wanted to point that out about who has the right to raise who and who has to say at this point, given that this man is where he's at. What do you think?
I actually had a really hard time talking about this piece of it to begin with. And the reason is because I have no say or no right to say anything about what decisions she made for her life when she was a child. She was a child. So first and foremost, I'm not about to say she was in the wrong, right, or anything. The reason why it got brought up in this case and it had to be discussed was because most of the donators.
I believe the right thing was done for Marvon at the time. For all sides, for all parties. A decision was made to do the right thing by Marvon. Not my place to judge, and I won't judge. I had children, 16, 17, and it wasn't easy. But you do what you gotta do, you keep going. It doesn't matter how hard life gets, you've got to keep going. And even now, as an adult, my attitude is the same. I do what needs to be done to get through the day.
We're under the understanding that this was a woman that had been in his life, that was his mom, that they had a very deep relationship. That is what a lot of people felt. And they were super passionate about helping her seek legal representation to facilitate that, because social media was extremely confused on the situation between Wynette and Letitia, of Wynette and Marvon Sr. being different than Letitia and her husband. At first, people didn't know that piece. So in order to explain it, that had to get brought up. But that's been something I've struggled with, because that's not this is a family feud and a family dispute that should have never came to social media. But then on the other hand of it too, I have to look at the things and say, these things were put out here by his family. I don't think their intention was poor. I think you have a mom who probably has a lot of emotions stemming from when she was 14, 16, a lot of regret, a lot of emotions. And who are we to fault her for how she feels in the moment she feels? And at the end of the day, this man allegedly tried to unalive himself. His wife, his kids, his mom, his biological mother, his great, I don't care who it is hurting.
Absolutely. And bringing the sense to the table is, again, nonsense. Fair play to her. She is a good person with a good heart.
These people are going through the worst time of their lives, and what they needed was support and somebody to care enough to mediate. And instead, we have a bunch of opportunists that decided to take an opportunity of a situation and run with it. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, that family is going to pay for those consequences for years, because here it is all over social media, and we don't get a redo. And they're not going to get their son, their husband, their father. They're not going to get him back at the end of the day.
You're right.
I don't know how else to reconcile this, that nobody wins in this situation.
No.
There is not a winner in this situation. Exposing this and talking about this isn't comfortable. It's not fun, because it comes down to, I don't fault her for her choices when she was 16, but I fault the fact that they were given so many opportunities to not have this on social media, to not continue this on social media, to have people that love and care about Dre and the family, other family parties that are in contact with Dre, mediate this, a third party come in. And unfortunately, because of all of these emotions on everybody's side, which again, I'm not faulting anybody for, here we are.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It does. It does suck. But who brought this to social media? Who brought the family disputes to social media? Letitia. Dre is out there looking after her children and praying their husband wakes up. Making it through each day, hoping tomorrow will be the day, tomorrow will be the day. I can just imagine. I know what it was like to have my son on in life support, and how it broke me, how it destroyed me. And there's never been a pain like it in my life. When you sitting there thinking, tomorrow's going to be the end. Don't want it to end, but it's going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. It's the worst feeling ever. And you just have to wait and keep waiting. And it feels like you're in a time loop. Every day's the same. You eat, you sleep, you drink. You wake up, you rinse and repeat. It's just a shame that it had to come to this. That anybody had to come to this.
Yeah. As they say, people suck, for sure. Erin. Especially her channel's like, people suck. I like that. Anyway.
Good segue. Ding, ding, ding.
As they say, people suck. Go ahead, jump in.
Well, I think one of the reasons why this was so prevalent on social media is, well, because Dre was. I mean, and she put so much of her life and her family's life out there on social media. And I'm not faulting that. I'm not. I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. There's good that comes from it, but there's also bad that you have to contend with, in my opinion. And I think, that's the fact that so much of it was already out there is why this also became as big as it did. And I understand what you're saying and about the strong emotion and how everyone wants to they get involved. But I think because of the strong emotions going on, and a lot of people don't know what to do to help or how they can help or but they
Mhm.
want to do something. They feel this desire to do something, but they don't know what. And that's, I think, where the money comes in, because a lot of people just don't either have the time or they don't have the logistics, whatever, to do something. So they just give money because that's what they know they can do.
You're right. And on that too, you have a bunch of people who are identifying with these emotions that these people are feeling. You know, you have people that are suffering great losses after this pandemic. You just said you've lost both your parents. I can't even imagine what you've been through. You know, all of those things, but everybody's drawing onto another piece of this. And that emotional pull, trauma bonding, as I would like to call it, is real. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it can be real shitty in times too. And this is one of them. Oh, I told you I wasn't going to cuss.
No, you're fine. Please drop them all and drop it all. And taste for the words. Yeah, it's such an interesting conversation, I think. And a lot of people, number one, the fact that we can have it, especially maybe we might not see eye to eye in certain areas. I mean, like I said, I always welcome it. Hey, let's go do lunch, let's go eat something and have it, because I really do feel like we can learn from each other. And a lot of people can't do that, you know, and that's absolutely fine. That's why we all have different platforms to hold whatever conversations we need to have. But I even feel like even some of these comments that I'm looking up here, like between, if you donated, you don't deserve a refund. And even that in between communication, I was, in my mind, I'm thinking, right, like, well, I was raised personally, and this is, I think a lot of us, our initial reactions are from what we perceive and know, right? I was raised that once you donate it, you don't ask for it back. But say that the circumstances in which the donation is presented change, right? I do remember that on Facebook, one of the groups said, yes, Letitia can pay bills off of that the donation. And then Molly also said it as well. She can pay bills. It wasn't so much about the steak dinner situation. It was what can be done. Molly had already given her the steak dinner. I don't think people were caught up on that. It was after the fact that other narratives were spun and people felt some type of way about it. And then they asked for those refunds. What do you guys think about that? And where do you land with that? Would you?
Yeah. When people were saying, well, if Letitia wants to go for a spa day or go and have a meal or go shopping, well, no. That's not what the money was donated for. The money was donated to help a mother see her son. Wherever that took. That doesn't mean a trip to the spa. And it doesn't mean to go out and get steak and chips. And it certainly doesn't mean to go out and go on a shopping spree. Or get your hair and nails done. No. The money was donated to help a grieving mother, a devastated mother, be there with her son. She went down there and she hasn't been back. She said she was going to go down the weekend after, and then she pulled a double. Okay, what happened to really wanting to be with your son? I'm sorry, but you've just raised thousands to be able to go see your son, and instead you're doing extra shifts. Why is work more important than your son? Because that is the impression that's being given out here. Because I could bet your ass if I had to work, I wouldn't be pulling doubles. I'd be using the time that I wasn't working to be down there with him, even if that didn't mean being there every day. Go to work during the week, and then on the weekends you'd be with your son. And that is why people gave you money. That is why people donated the 500s and the thousands. For you to have the ability to go and be with your son. This is a mess.
Ask for your money back, not knowing maybe it wasn't spent where it needed to go. I don't know. It's a weird morality question.
I've said this all along, and I'll say it again because I feel like I owe it to you guys. I would not, and it's never been about that for me. Again, I was raised very similar to you, but I also can understand the other side of it. I can understand why they're asking for refunds. I can reconcile that train of thought too. Personally, I just couldn't. That's just how I am. But that's here or there. I gotta hop out for a minute. But
absolutely, we're gonna be ending here pretty soon. EKC, do you have any thoughts about that question? Thank you so much, Nonsense, for joining us.
Bye, Nonsense.
Bye, EKC. It was nice to actually chat with you. Sorry, I was like, I don't know who you are really, but
I should have introduced you guys.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
But what are your thoughts? Like, I know you feel you might have a difference of opinion. That's absolutely fine.
Well, I mean, my thought is, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. If you donate money, you don't ask for it back. And yeah, I mean, but I do think that there are certain situations in which you do have a right to request it back. But I think that those things have to be established beforehand. If they're not, you can't go back after the fact and then establish the guidelines, you know? And that's what I think we're looking at here, because the whole point of, like I said, the whole point of the raising money or whatever was to get her out to Arizona to see her son. The lawyer and everything that came up, you know, shortly after. But wasn't just about that. I mean, even Katie Joy has said this a couple times on live streams, that the whole goal was to get her there to see her son. And that goal was met. But beside that, like in the report, for example, that I received today, one of the screenshots showing or like giving evidence to the reporter's claims was a screenshot of Letitia's post from, I'm guessing, one of the Facebook groups. And it's a post where Letitia mentions a lawyer and how, anything you want to give, I can help. Or if you know someone out here who's an attorney, that'll help, et cetera. But like nowhere in the.
Yeah. For an attorney. Or to get her to see her son. Yeah, that was achieved. But I don't think people wouldn't mind if you used it to go a second time or third time. But they didn't want to pay for you to go for a stop bar treatment. Or get lip injections or Botox. Because that's just stupid. And anybody with even half a brain cell would know that.
This post, does it say that I will show receipts, or I will, you'll know where every time your dollar went, or every dollar is going to go to this, or go just to the fee for the attorney? Nowhere did it say I have a set goal to make, and once I reach that goal, then thank you, we're done. It was very vague, and I don't think it was intended that way. I think that's just how Letitia just got to write the post, but it was very vague, and someone read that and then donated money, and now they're wondering why they're not awarded all these, or not being shown receipts or these things in which was never stated or promised or asked for ahead of time. That's my whole thing on this.
Have you seen the?
But she did, EKC. You say that you've read everything, but then you don't know these simple, basic things. But here is where it shows how EKC only worries about the things that involve KD.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I get wanting to see the receipts. I get wanting to know where your money. I get that, but the whole legality of it, when it comes down to it, I don't think anyone has a right because of how this was just set up and worded and agreed upon when they donated.
Absolutely. Have you seen the post that followed? There was another post by Letitia who said that she was going to do a live and do a breakdown of where things are going and what was said. Would that change your mind in terms of like what you're saying now if you were to see the context of that full post?
Well, I mean, again, this is a post somewhere on social media. Like if she wrote that on the GoFundMe campaign on the page there, then yeah, then I think things would be different. Because I mean, she put a Facebook post up. I mean, it'd be very hard to prove that someone donated because they saw that post. When there's so much other chatter about this everywhere else, and her information to donate has been shared, numerous places. So I think it becomes kind of messy. Though had it just been all like left on the GoFundMe campaign page, and that's what she said, then yeah, then I think we'd be talking a totally different conversation.
Gotcha. So okay, so if it was in the GoFundMe, you feel like it would be fine. There was another live, and I do remember this live where she said that she was actually on the phone with Molly and said that she would be doing a breakdown live with everyone, answering everybody's questions as it pertains to the money. This is what I think. I think that this is some shitty ass bookkeeping practices. I don't think that was necessarily thought out thoroughly, right, as it pertains to the money and what was going to go. I think that, in my opinion, Molly shouldn't be running any type of fundraising unless it's like, somehow the super chats are going to the fundraising, right? Somehow set up that way. I just don't think that she did a very good job that way. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's just my opinion thus far. Because then it would have really minimized all the questioning of, right? We wouldn't be in a situation right now if somebody did some bookkeeping with this. Who did the bookkeeping? We don't know. I don't want to speculate the amount. I'm not going to have a live stream and say this is.
I don't think anybody done any bookkeeping. The money just kept coming in and they were using it.
What was earned. Right. And this is what I told the donor. I said, I have to, and anybody else, I cannot say that this is a scam because I'm not the investigative authority of that. Right. And I'll agree with you on one thing though. The GoFundMe was probably the best place to have done this, because if somebody wanted a refund, they'd have gotten it. Right.
But if someone wanted terms or to understand what it was about and they wanted updates, that would have been.
I'm going to explain my biggest issue. When money was coming in and Letitia was saying that she was giving people refunds, she went on to say that she gave out so much money, even going into her own personal money, to pay people back. Firstly, why are you dipping into your own personal money? Because not everybody asked for refunds. It wasn't a massive list of people asking for refunds. But then Molly says that she was left with $4,000 to travel. And that was after the refunds and after paying lawyer fees and everything else on top of that. I can't exactly remember everything that was said about payments, and the people they were paid to. I know there was a certain amount of money paid to the lawyer for a retainer, 4K, and then 18K on phone calls, or was it more? And the figures just changed every time. There were so many changes in the amount of money that was coming in, going out, that none of it makes any sense anymore. Did she pay so much out that she was going out with her own money? But where did the 4K come from? And now what has happened to the 4K? Because that was meant to be spent on going back down to see him.
It would have been there.
Right. The Cash App would probably not have been. I'm like, the Cash App is not
No.
at all. And that's why I'm like, I know it was promoted, but it was promoted in excessive. And then it also, they also give the wrong Cash App at one point. So the
EKC is a lot happier now that nonsense is gone, I notice. Just my opinion.
question becomes, well, did they donate to the wrong Cash App? How were we ever going to get away from that, right? And I'm seeing some of these comments. Nanya says, Rabbit, the donation started on Facebook. That's right. So it started with the Facebook GoFundMe. That is where people were told there would be transparency, and they've seen it. I did see that. I did see the post from Letitia with the donor. She actually has a message where Letitia promises to refund her back as well, and then gets blocked. I did see that as well.
Mhm.
You know, EKC, if you want to see those posts, I have no problems. I actually dropped them on my last one.
No, I have
Completely
no
up to
problem
you.
seeing him again. I don't know. I mean, it's so much here. I think it's difficult truth, and like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cynical person or whatever, skeptical, but I don't believe much. And without
No shit, Batman. But it's none of your fucking business, is it, Erin?
verification, I take everything with a grain of salt, which means that I even take whether or not this person donated with a grain of salt, and I take whether or not this person was refunded or not with a grain of salt. And that's on both ends. I mean, Letitia could be lying about having given the refund, and the donor could be lying about having received the refund, you know? And it's really none of my business to ask for proof or anything.
What reason would they have to lie about the refund? Erin? The only people who have had reasons to lie right up until date is Molly and them.
Either, because it doesn't involve me. So it's just one of those weird things, I think.
I completely, you know, I respect your opinion. Ooh, we got some people in here. Oh my God. We got Cash. Justice is back. And then we have Nanya. Go ahead, guys. Sound off. I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
I just wanted to add really quickly. So I think where the disconnect is.
Nanya, can you give me 1 minute? 1 minute. Cash, I'm going to mute you real quick because you're very loud. Oh, she just dropped. Go ahead, Nanya.
That's okay. I just wanted to clarify a couple of different things. So I think where the disconnect may be is I strongly agree it's on the different platforms, because everything was happening on so many different platforms. And so maybe on Facebook, you got one story, and then on YouTube, you're getting another story. But part of the problem that people had from the very beginning is the fact that it is not, she can go at any time and visit her son per the Arizona law. And it was shown on lives multiple times. She can go and see her son. The disconnect ended up
It was. This is true.
becoming that she didn't want to just see her son. She wanted to have his diagnosis and be a part of the decision-making process. And that is in both her Facebook post on her personal page, as well as in her post in the Facebook group, and part of the GoFundMe. And so when people are hearing, I need a lawyer to get me visitation, hurry, time is running out, hurry, I need to get to see my son, and they're not presented with the truth in the first place, because it was presented that she is this active, everyday part of her, adult child's life. And then they start to hear that, well, she actually isn't. She adopted him. Okay, no one cares about that. Then they start to hear, well, actually, the law isn't preventing her from seeing him. Okay, then they're hearing, then they start to hear other things where it starts off, she needs a lawyer for visitation.
Oh, look,
then it turns in she needs a lawyer for visitation.
Oh, wow. EKC just went from smiling to, why the fuck am I sitting here? I knew there was a reason I had to do a response to this video. That is a picture, that is. I wish I had the ability to zoom in on her face right now.
And POA, and to take custody of her grandson that she's never met. Well, man, okay, well, now I'm feeling real misled. And then it just kept going. Then it became, well, hey, obviously taking time off work and going to see your son is going to affect your ability to pay your bills. So obviously you must need this money to help pay your bills as well. And then from there, it was, well, my personal money, and other people in the comments were saying same things. For my personal money that I'm giving you, you can go out to dinner, you can do this. And so all of those misleading things. And then, I mean, there were some blatant lies put out there. There were messages where she put it out, both in the Facebook group, in her own post, and in chats that have been released between her and the admin, stating, I'm just waiting on a judge to sign paperwork. But then people started looking, and there is no public filing. So when somebody has continually put out lie after lie after lie, those donors started to feel like, somebody had said in the comments, if somebody was collecting for their cancer treatments and you found out that they didn't end up having cancer, would you want your money back? I think most people would want their money back.
But her son is in a coma. I mean, and she did want to see him. She does want to see him. This is where I know a lot of people are talking about.
No one's disputing her son's in a coma, Erin. Nobody is disputing that. They're disputing her actions.
Fraud, but I mean, these are like facts, and I think so much of this is dependent upon these facts. You know what I mean? So when people say fraud, like, I mean, that's why people are donating, is to help a mother see her son while he lie in a coma, right?
So I don't think anybody ever disputed. I mean, I think we all are on the same page that we know and knew he was in a coma. I think what they disputed and what they've seen as fraud long term was her presentation of the facts. So yes, the only fact that has been true thus far has been he is in a coma. But the other things that she is stating as fact over time, over this last 3 months, those have been where, she's stating as a fact that she's just waiting on a judge to sign paperwork. But that we know that that's not true. She's stating that it's a fact that she cannot by law see him. We know that that's not true. So those are I think for me, that's my interpretation. That is the reason why people feel like they're being misled and they're being lied to constantly.
Erin is trying so hard to look like she's interested in this conversation right now. Wow, this is so frustrating.
Because nobody is disputing the fact he's in a coma, but the presentation of the lies and the continuance of the lies is what ends up making people like, well, wait a second, if you keep lying to me, how many times can you be a liar to me and I'm just going to take it?
Cash, go ahead and I'm sorry.
I'm going to play what she just said because she hit that on the nail. Kudos to you, Nanya. That was awesome.
That was awesome, Nanya. You did a great job with it. Fair play to you. Cracking job. And Erin looks like she just wants to run.
I'm going to bring it back to the beginning, guys. How we know is because we went through this, okay? You cannot have a GoFundMe under someone else's name. The beneficiary to Vaughn is his wife, number one, then his son, his biological son, number two, and then the girls, okay? They are the ones that have all say to Vaughn. Now, what they did was they threw a narrative to make it look like that the mother, quote, Letitia had something there. I have nothing against Letitia. We have nothing against this family. The family is the family. What we're going to say is the fraud comes in on justice for Vaughn with a made-up narrative by actors and creators for money. That's what they did. They created. They're content creators. That's what their job is, to make money. Number one. The GoFundMe or any other fundraiser is fraud by using the man's name. You're not allowed. Nobody is, except his wife or whoever she appoints. So any money that is made off of this.
That is really interesting. That is so interesting. It's a good thing for people to remember too.
Man's name goes to his estate. Now look it up legally because y'all are missing it from the mark. Who gave anyone permission to put any fundraiser or go?
I'm going to take this part and I'm going to cut it. So you've only got Cash talking so that people know about these facts. Just to make sure that people are reminded of it.
GoFundMe in this man's name as he's laying in a coma, besides his wife or his son. They legally are the only ones. So what you have is fraud, is right from the beginning.
Thank you, Cash. EKC, you have something to say about what?
Yeah, we had two other ones that were out here on Cash's name that the police department took care of for us. That's how we know how to do this, okay? And what the legalities are. That's how it had to happen. Those people were taken down. It was also put on the Dallas Police Department's website to show that they were frauded out. The only legal beneficiary to Cash's name was Connie Ward only on social media or in any fundraiser to be accepted. That's how it has to be done. And it would have to be done for Dre also. She can get put on the police department's internet page that she is the only beneficiary for Vaughn's name only. That can be taken care of.
That does need to be taken care of. And I hope that someone is in contact with Dre to do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to let EKC respond to what Cash is saying.
Like I had said earlier, like when I came into this and the whole justice for Vaughn, like when you asked me what it meant, like that's what it meant for me. When I heard that it was so this man could have his family with him. And the GoFundMe wasn't for Vaughn. It was for getting his mom to see him. And it wasn't just the lawyer's fees. I don't even know exactly what she's referring to as far as all I need is a judge to sign off on something. I don't know the whole context of this, so I can't comment on that. But
of course you don't, but you claim to have read everything. The hypocrisy is shining through those rosy pink cheeks of yours.
I mean, the whole point, and this, I never was under any other impression, and I listened to a lot of these streams, and I know that Letitia.
Did you? But you don't know none of these things that people are saying. You're questioning everything that's been said. Like it's all new to you.
She, from what I understand, she considered a lawyer for for however long, however serious, due to the fact of what she was hearing about how she won't be welcomed at the hospital. She was told that there's some sort of legality that's preventing her from being there. And then there's, I mean, the only reason I buy into that is because of Dre, because of the video Dre put up where she's talking about having his family removed there at the hospital. I mean, that's not.
There's been so much that has happened since that one video. And you haven't seen any of it, have you? As much as you claim to, you haven't. Because these people could spell it out to you. They could show you everything and you would still question why you're questioning right now.
Something that Molly did or put together or Justin or whoever. That's
You
something
don't
that Dre recorded and put out there.
The right to make her own decisions for her family. That's her family. You don't
I'm
feel
not talking about decisions. I'm not talking about decisions. I mean, it's letting these
Yes, you are talking about decisions. Decisions on whether Letitia should be allowed to the hospital.
family just see him.
if she made that decision that there was an issue and that she felt there was some bad way about that, that was her decision as her being the authority in power at that time, which she had that power. That's
So,
being quiet.
Can I jump in? I think the difference is I
doesn't
think
have that
EKC, you're
power.
saying, I think EKC is saying morally it was wrong in her opinion, not legally it was wrong, right?
Yeah, we're having the conversation of morality.
Right. Okay. Well,
We need to be careful with that.
yeah, morally and legally run hand in hand. Okay, so legally she did have all. She had
I
all
don't think that they do.
to say what she said, what she had planned. Okay.
Oh, she looks pissed. Look at the eyes. That is angry eyes.
She could say, "I don't want anybody to see my husband." She can say that. That's her right. You know.
And this is the piece, Cass, where we're all going to have to agree to disagree because, like I said, there's so many issues here of morality, what's right based on experience, and then there's a legal issue, right? And as much as I'd like to think that our country is set up and mirrors the same, like it clearly doesn't, because we would probably be in a different conversation right now. This is the piece where we would have to agree to disagree on that. I do want to ask you guys a question, though. And Krusty pointed this out. Please consider that Molly and Justin were going live daily painting Dre as a possible murderer. I would probably put Katie Joy in there as well because she was going live with them either on Facebook or on YouTube, putting them all together, right? Even myself, I did 3 videos and I was like, I wonder if this lady did something. Maybe she thought she was going to have a fight, someone who would be arrested for harming her son. And that I'm thinking, I'm wondering, was there some kind of outcome here that was painted that people thought was going to come out of Dre being accused of something? Are we still waiting for this outcome? I'm kind of curious. Now, what are we waiting for?
I think some people are. I think some people over at Molly's channel and Justice's and LB's are expecting something to happen to Dre. I think they're waiting for Dre to be arrested. And I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I think 100% the narrative and the want in the very beginning was her removed as POA, her in jail for apparently doing something that didn't happen, her children being taken away and going to live both with the biological father and with his biological grandparents. That was the original narrative that was put out. That was the end goal, and Vaughn going to Georgia to be with his biological family.
Yep.
I didn't get that at all.
The face. I didn't get that at all. Really? Really? You didn't ever get that? 3 months since it came to YouTube and you didn't get that? Come on, EKC. You're not this dumb. That was the exact impression I was getting. That Letitia wanted to take those children away. Well, at least her grandson anyway. I don't think she was actually considering the girls. Since she didn't want Vaughn to marry Dre because she'd already been married with 2 children. She didn't want her husband to raise somebody else's children. And if you listen to Marvon, he tells you that. Wow.
I know that, like, if you listen to some of Katie's streams, it's probably, you know, some of the takeaway we there in the beginning, because of her discussion about the crate, how she was helping the ex-husband, you know, we just needed an address or a name for the attorney so she can be served, you know, during all that. But barring that, I didn't get that at all. Like, what I took away from it was, like, yeah, there were mistakes made, but nothing that requires CPS or anything like that. I mean,
yeah, you really, really have watched everything, haven't you? You've read everything, you watched everything, blah, 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 blah. You haven't got a clue. It's no wonder this woman infuriates me.
and at one point when Molly had said that she knew where Dre was a couple days, and hey, if you just texted me, I would have told you, or something like that. A lot of people kind of gave her backlash or whatever for not saying something, for not just offering up that information. I had a totally different take on it, and I said, well, why? I mean, there's nothing urgent. There's no urgent matter here. If you,
Of course you did, Erin. Of course you did. Wow.
push this, if you push CPS involvement, if you push the court's involvement, then it's only going to hurt the kids. If there's no urgent matter and things are okay for now, then you can go about this the right way. You don't have to just strong arm it. So I mean,
So-
that was.
Can I ask you some questions, EKC? Because I haven't fully. I watched a couple of your videos, but not 100% with your full on content. So I do apologize if this is something you've already answered or addressed. But
Nanya,
so here's-
can I give you 1 second? We have 5 minutes because baby bunny, and then I gotta go. But I want to hear the questions. 5 minutes, guys.
Okay. So my first question would be, have you, when it comes to the streams or the text messages or the content that is being put out, do you feel like you are 100% well versed in what has happened both behind the scenes that have been put out as well as what's happened on live or things like that?
I'm going to answer that for her and say absolutely effing no. Not one bit.
Well, no, and nor should I be. I mean, it's not my situation. I'm only going off of what's been presented in front of me. And
But you haven't looked at everything in front of you, have you? You haven't looked at half of it. Clearly, you haven't looked at half of it. There are us who have seen and stayed up till early hours of the morning, watching and getting, making sure we got all our ducks in a row. Whereas you spent your time talking about Katie.
the thing is like, I agree with I'm sorry, forgive me, I forget who said that, but I agree with the whole take. Like, none of us should have really been that involved. But and my whole, I think.
No, but Letitia got us all involved. Molly got us all involved. Justice for All, LB, got us all involved in everything going on.
I think it's important for Vaughn's sake, and that's just how I am. I think it's important that his family be there, his whole family, his wife included, his kids included, of course, his loved ones be there. I mean, that's my firm stance. That's the hill I'm going to die on in this situation.
All right. So here's my second question to that then, my follow-up question to that. So my follow-up question is this. So after the family has stood by and watched people accuse the wife of doing things, accused her of harming or potentially harming her children, they have sent people looking for her at her home. They've sent people to her mother's home. They recorded, videos at her home where children were present. And this family stood by and supported these people and their actions. You still feel like they are entitled, or they have a right to stand beside her in his healing process?
One, they don't correlate. They don't mesh. Like, one isn't deserving of the other. If something over here goes accordingly to the other part, I mean, they don't really go together. You're comparing one thing to another, and that's assuming that everything you're saying is factual, which
it is. It's true. We've all seen it. We've all watched it. We've all heard it being spoken. And you say that you know everything. I don't know, guys. This just...
most of what you said, I've never even heard of before. And I think I've been following this well enough to have heard those things had they been true. The only thing I recall hearing was someone taking a picture or whatever, or video recording of a shed. Like, that's the only thing that I recall knowing about. Like, so, I mean, I'm not sure why one has to be dependent on the other here. And we're just talking about this from Vaughn's point of view, from Vaughn's sake, as a voice for Vaughn. I mean, why can't his family just see him?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and I think, I can definitely respect agreeing to disagree, but I know that as a wife of a husband, if I told my husband's family that they can't see him due to an infection right now, and I'm trying to get, his health is very, fragile at that time, and then my husband's family went online and bashed me or aligned with or got, connected with other YouTubers who then went on a...
Nanya, spoken like a pro.
a rampage of those things. I don't know that I could be that forgiving of a person to then turn around
is
and
that why
say,
she
which
recorded?
I do have. I mean, I can definitely give you all the screenshots in the world of what I'm saying. So, because
Right.
I'm not
But
a
is that why
something
Trey
graphic
made the
person.
recording? Is
Say
that
that
why
again?
Trey made that recording in the hospital asking for his family to be removed? It was because there was an infection. Is that why she did that?
No, that is not why. Because she thought
Oh,
that
okay.
it was
Okay.
my understanding is she thought that it was his mother. She did not realize that that was the stepmother. And
Yeah,
at
she got
that time,
confused.
they had
She
already
talked about
it
that.
was already going on Facebook, that the bashing had already started, and she had already they had already had a conflict by that time.
Yeah.
So her being there for her at the same time as her, she did not feel safe at that point in time.
So Letitia hadn't been out to see Vaughn yet at that point, then, right? Is that what
No,
you're
she had
saying?
not been there yet. No.
So then naturally, I mean, if I were Letitia and I saw that video, I would assume that I'm not going to be welcomed out there. I mean,
There was
I can
communication
understand
between them,
thinking
though,
that.
right? Wasn't
Yes,
there
they had
between them?
communicated via text and I believe one phone call. But when prior to that trip that the father had made, prior to that, there was communication between them saying and documented, lives that she had done with updates saying he was COVID positive. He did have, I want to say C. diff maybe. There's
That's
videos,
right.
so you'd have to find those, something like that, which is supposed to be highly contagious, and that he wasn't safe enough for people to come outside in. So those were the
I do
conversations
remember
that were
that.
happening. But and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I do agree that yes, yes, you should be able to see him in the very beginning. I agreed with that part. But when you started this witch hunt from there, like I said, I just don't think I'm that type of person that I could forgive those things, that you put my kids' safety at danger. And I don't think I could forgive that and be like, you know what? It's right that you be here. Just go ahead and come.
I mean, you're
That
also
would be
putting
really hard for me.
you're also putting a lot of people's actions on Letitia. I mean, it's the internet.
It's three different people, to be fair, right? Like, we're talking about three different people that overall, right? Between Wynette, who also filmed the hospital, the room, right? I did see that. Then you have Mr. Jackson, and then you have Letitia, right? This is three different people. And I think where we're going at, I think this is just something we're just going to have to agree to disagree personally,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
we might not.
And I understand all these reservations. I get it. And I'm not judging. I'm not faulting. I'm not whatever. I'm not. My whole take.
But you are. That's exactly what you're doing. Damn it, my phone went off. That is exactly what you're doing, Erin.
And this is that I feel like the family should be allowed to see, their loved one, and
Right.
that I don't see any leg to stand on to demand a refund. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and that's fine. I think everybody, we can all agree to disagree. We're going to be closing here pretty soon. Well, we're going to be closing here now because Baby Bunny's like, get the F off the stream. Oh, Nanya, you left. I don't know if you had any closing thoughts. I didn't want you to just drop like that. She might have something to say in the chat. Cash, do you have anything to say as far as closing?
I do. And why we are out here and why we had to become an organization was because of social media and what social media has done during Cash's case. Okay. We shouldn't have to do that either. The reason why that had to be done is because there was a witch hunt with us also. And that was against Cash's grandmother, Connie Ward. That witch hunt was the worst witch hunt ever for a great.
And that witch hunt was run by your new best friend, Erin. Your new member of the anti-KJ community. The woman that you are supporting and going after nonsense because of. You know who I'm talking about. They know who I'm talking about. Wow. You really can't wait to get away from this stream, can you? The eyes are just dead. There is nobody home. The lights are on, but nobody's there.
Grandmother to go through that was the caretaker at the time of taking care of everyone in her family that had went through this tragedy, and she got trashed and bashed because her answer was no to certain content creators. Okay, that's how this came down. Now what we had to do was surround her and make sure that she was taken care of. That woman was,
that would be MGL, Molly Golightly, the most trashiest person on YouTube to date. The most horrific YouTuber to date. The one person who should really not be on YouTube. But is one of your new best friends.
broke. Now she's got her strength back. She's going to take her power back. She made an organization that's going to go bigger and better out here. And that includes social media. And that's for all the families out here that are going to be dragged by social media content creators from.
Go on, Con. You got this, sweetheart. You got this. Because you're going to do whatever is right for your grandchildren. I believe that. What was done to Connie was awful. I've watched videos. Go to another T channel. 11 months ago and 1 year ago. Talking about poor Cash and Molly Golightly. My heart breaks for them.
Money for their own personal gain. Enough is enough of it. That's people's personal business that they're jumping into. Their families, their lives. How would you like your children dragged out there? Your husband, your father, your mother. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. Anybody that thinks that that's okay, it's not okay. That's real life you're going into, not some story for actors, for content, for cash, money. That's
Right.
the difference.
Well, thank you so much for giving
Thank
us
you.
your take.
And we appreciate everybody that's exposing the exploiters. We thank you very much. All the content creators, please, guys, we have the convoy going. Keep it up. And this has got to stop. And we're going to make sure that our voices are heard with the task force at the round table, and that we'll be out here to help better in bigger and better ways for everyone. And that's our goal. And we will make it there. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Cash. EKC, people suck. Don't leave yet. I mean, what are your closing thoughts on this? I want to thank you, number one, for coming. I was like, I really, I was hearing your stream. I said, I really want to hear. And I was hearing through the grapevine that I got dragged. I said, I get dragged. What happened? It's okay, because I mean, it is what it is. We have opposing opinions. It's always good.
I'm a huge fan of just agreeing to disagree, or just, I mean, and I'm much like you. Like, I don't want an echo chamber. I mean, I want to see other points of view. I want to understand in ways that I can't currently understand now. That's only going to help me grow as a
Erin, you're one of the biggest echo chambers on YouTube. Please.
person. And if we all evolve, then we all evolve, But yeah, just an echo chamber is not going to help bring that about.
Fadia, you don't feel that way about Katie too, isn't it? Do you know what, guys? This is over anyway. The interview is done. Erin can't say much more than makes her look any more, I don't know. So we shall end that there. Press that one. So what are you guys' thoughts on it? Did you see where Erin checked out? Did you see where Erin was getting really annoyed? I thought it was quite funny, to be honest with you, in an ironic kind of way. She most certainly doesn't know half of what's being said. She certainly doesn't care about what's being done and what's being said, and about the main people involved in this whole thing. All she really thinks about is the effect that Katie has on her. Erin checked out quite a way in, and she wasn't really interested in anything outside of the Katie Joy stuff. She doesn't know anything outside of the Katie Joy stuff. So I would hope that she would educate herself a little bit more and be a little bit more aware of what is going on and what has been done and what has been said. I didn't donate money to give to a spa date. I didn't give money for her to go out shopping. And I certainly didn't give her money to go get her nails done or a haircut. You're supposed to go to get into her son, the required lawyer that she needed to see her son. But it really doesn't matter at this point anyway. So if you made it this far, you're amazing. You're great. Please leave a comment. Put a purple heart if you've made it all the way to the end. Share. Subscribe. And I shall see you all in the next one. Have a great night, everybody. And I shall see you so soon. Bye.